beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I'm Snappy, and it's wonderful to be here today on June 22nd, 2024. Thank you all for coming in. And we're going to be doing our normal tarot reading in our sortes. So before we get started, could you please give me a like and a share? The likes really do make a difference, and they do boost this in the algorithm. So please send me a little blessing. It's good karma. Also, if you are interested in potentially getting your own private reading, you can send me a message in my email, snappydts@gmail.com. You can find it in the link below in the description. So thank you everyone for coming. So let's just give a good shout out to the chat here. It's great to see you, Dawson, Nikosmos, Karma, Graham, Ruby and Jeremy, Von Beardo, Beatnik Bulba, Zachus, Gandhi. So wonderful to have you guys all here today. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So to get started, we're going to talk about the astrology. And we're still in that same energy we saw during the full moon, which is intense energy. And if you guys notice, the picture I chose and the phrase I chose for today kind of corresponded with the moon energy in Capricorn that we've been dealing with. It's this idea that, now is the time to really get into the deep intuitive aspects of the mind, but in this very practical sense, to really fixate on what you want and what you're trying to manifest, and to really put yourself in that position of authority, and to look at your deep corners of the self and to say, what can I put into action? Capricorn is such a power of movement and of the earth and of practicality. To have it in the moon, now is a time where you can really manifest these kinds of dreams and you can build something. So now is the time to really be in that power sense of self, right? To ascend that throne and to project what you want, and to be certain about it. This is hard energy to be in. A lot of us struggle with this, but if you can't do this for yourself, no one can. And we all have this potential within us. And this is a good kind of powerful energy to try and manifest in our lives, to try and be in. And this is one of the lessons of this Capricorn moon, is about how to embody that strength and power of the earth, how to be certain, how to be practical, and use this to your advantage. Use this to manifest what you desire, and also to face those dark corners, those things that you have been dreading. Capricorn is an energy of being really critical, of being really capable of seeing things truly, and being in that deep reflective mode. So on top of that, we're still also in this energy of Cancer, where we have the Cancer Sun, Cancer Mercury, Cancer Venus. So much emotional, loving energy, so much intensity around. And we all need to be aware of this, right? This is a time when there's going to be feelings of insecurity, feelings of sensitivity, and this wishy-washy nature, right? Our emotions are being laid bare and are being exposed. And as well as within this Cancer moon, we're seeing that things that don't mesh with how we're feeling are going to hurt a lot more. They're gonna sting right now. We're in that kind of a mode. So just be aware of this. And also, though, there is a positive here. You can really connect to those you do have a deep emotional connection to. Now is a time when you can really listen to someone, listen to the other, and be heard as well. So really embrace this flowing water, this Cancer energy, and try to connect to people and to your loved ones in that really deep way. With Mercury and with Venus, now is a time where you can really share your feelings and you can be heard and you can listen. So it's powerful energy there as well. All right, so that's our astrology going in. So we're going to do our sortes, and I've been having fun going to Hess. I've been talking to some of you about Hess as well. So Hess is definitely what I like to call, and what Graham and I call, dragons. Those are those incredible artists who are inspired by the muse and utilize that kind of that Orphic Vox and really bring forward a lot of profound ideas. So I highly recommend you check this out, Narcissus and Goldman. I've also read Steppenwolf and Siddhartha. A friend I had met online named Harrison was recommending Damien, which sounds amazing. And that's one of the few I have yet to read from Hess. So always more to be plumbed here. So let's do the sortes. And for those of you who are unaware, the sortes is a form of divination via bibliomancy. That is divination by literature. So we flip through the pages of this book, we ask the muses to guide our hand, and we read a line out of context. And whatever the line is, that's the message from the muse. That's our inspiration. So let's go. Muses, guide my hand. What is the inspiring message? What do we need to take forward? How do we best move in flow? Wow. And yet the things that lay in store for him were far worse than he had imagined. Wow. Wow. What an intense message to get. It's a scary message to get, but it's also a realistic one. And what I mean by this is that life is always harder than you can imagine. Things always go differently, and there's always more intensity. And it is important that you don't bind yourself to imagined images, right? In that you are able to move freely and be able to adapt, because things are always going to get worse too. You know, it's one of these hard parts about life, is that suffering is such a truth, is such a reality, is something that is going to confront us, and that eventually we're going to die, you know. But life is also beautiful and can be affirmed. And if you can prepare yourself and move and flow and adapt, everything can be okay, right? And just as things are worse than you imagine, they're always more beautiful than you imagine too. It's always two sides of the same coin. You know, wherever there are darkness, there's love. There cannot be darkness without love. Okay? So, wow, beautiful. Deep message to think on. Thank you, Hess. All right, let us continue. We're now going to go to my dear teacher, Dr. Harsa V. Dehasia, in his book, Parvati Darpana. All right, muses, guide my hand. What is the message? How do we move and flow? What is the inspiration to guide us forward? Okay. Please excuse if I mispronounce these Indian words, but the divine couple perform the dance of the Ardnahari Ishvara, and the Brahmaji Nasu, learns the lesson of Advaita. Okay, so those last ones, what it's saying is the divine couple performs the dance of Ardnahari Ishvara. This is the combined form of Shiva Shakti in one being, right? That's that Fanis, that intersects God, the penultimate moment before dissolution into oneness. What it says here, the divine couple perform the dance of Adnahari Ishvara, and the Brahmaji Nasu learns the lesson of Advaita. That is the one who's seeking after Brahman, right? The one who's trying to learn the truth of the absolute, learns the lesson of Advaita. That is non-dualism, or absolute non-dualism. And how is that perception of the one gained? Through the cosmic dance with the other, with the partner, participating in this dance of love, in this exploration of love, right? And it is through that that one perceives and one is able to achieve this kind of enlightenment and have all this growth. So this is encouraging us to connect to that other, whatever that other is, to find that love in your life, to find beauty, to strive after it, and to see yourself reflected in it, to dance and harmonize with it until you come to this oneness, into this ultimate realization, right? You affirm the many and the one together. Beautiful. In that untold, endless cycle of creation, from one to many and back again. Wow. Love to see it. All right. We're going to keep going. I've been having so much fun with Graham's book, The Shape of My Will. So we're going to keep doing The Shape of My Will. It's kind of funny. I also did this for a friend privately. And it's like Graham's poetry can be very intense, but I keep finding all the beautiful moments. So we'll see if we continue to do so. But All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message? How do we best move and flow? And what do we take forward? What is the inspiration? Wow. Constellations traced in streetlights. Constellations traced in streetlights. What a beautiful line. And to me, this just screams the Hermetic axiom. That which is above is the same as that which is below, right? You can see the stars reflected in the streetlights. Or when we were talking, Graham and I, a little while ago, we're talking about Aldous Huxley, and he was talking about how he saw the unfolding of the stars in the plants in his room when he was experiencing his spiritual awakening through mescaline. You know, you can see the patterns of the universe unfold in the microcosm as well as the macrocosm. And this is something that needs to be perceived, this flowing of nature. And we need to accept and be in it. So much is to be gained from this perception and this recognition, right? Things like suffering in imagination stop meaning so much in that incredible flow of time. Wow. All right. Let's continue. Let's go to Euripides, classic Greek playwright, one of the greats. So muses, guide my hand. What is the message? What is the inspiration? How do we best move forward in flow? March. Let me lose no time. Let me fly to my bridegroom's bed. March. Let me lose no time. Let me fly to my bridegroom's bed. Wow. Doesn't that just resonate with the first sortes we had, with this idea of doing the cosmic dance with your lover? And now it's saying, March, let me lose no time. Let me fly to my bridegroom's bed. Wow. Again, it's about pursuing love, pursuing that the beauty of the other, and to pursue whoever that is fully. That is where you're going to find what you're looking for, you know? And that's where you're meant to go at this time. Wow. Beautiful. Okay, muses. Wow. Love to see it. We're going to go to Goethe now, one of the greatest playwrights of all time, and to his book, Faust. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the inspiration? How do we best move and flow? What do we take forward today? What's more, there's nothing in my shop whose store all other shops exceed that has not added to the crop of worldly ills and evil deeds. What's more, there's nothing in my shop whose store all other shops exceed that has not added to the crop of worldly ills and evil deeds. Wow. That's an intense line. And I think it's a reminder too. You cannot remove yourself and rise completely above the fray, right? And it's also important, it is capital, and this pursuit of capital that is the problem, right? What's more, there's nothing in my shop whose store all other shops exceed that has not added to the crop of worldly ills and evil deeds. This is a really deep message, okay? Because this reminds me, okay, so much of our colonialism and our destruction of the earth has been founded upon this idea of providing people with their desires, creating these shops, feeding that endless cycle of consumption. You know, if we look back to the earliest stages of colonialism, it was about spice and exotic fruit and about free labor. but it just changes. Now it's about cell phones and screens, but it is still the same thing. These shops that provide us with all we want and all our desires, these are the ones we need to be most fearful of. These mega corporations who only exist to consume, you know, who store all other shops succeed that has not added to the crop of otherworldly ills and deeds. Wow, intense. All right, let us continue. We're going to go to the Psychic Bible by Genesis Peorage and the Temple of Psychic Youth, right? An incredible, incredible work. I highly recommend people check it out. All right, Muses, guide my hand. What is the message? How do we best move and flow? What do we take forward today? What is the inspiration? Okay. Art is not simply to be looked at, dissected, and critiqued, but to be experienced. Art is not simply to be looked at, dissected, and critiqued, but to be experienced. Wow. This speaks so heavily to what we've been reading about and just talking in general, this idea of experiencing and knowing the other, right? Beauty. Art is beauty, and beauty is something that must be experienced to its depths. You must go beyond the surface and go to the deeps. Go to the extended knowledge, right? True, powerful, anything that is truly beautiful has multiple layers. People, art, literature, and you can explore. You can explore. Wow. Love to see it. Let us continue. We're going to now go to the Book of Thoth by Aleister Crowley. Probably my favorite tarot book. If you're ever interested in tarot, this is what I would recommend. So there you go. All right, Muses, guide my hand. What is the message? How do we best move and flow? What is the inspiration? Guide us. Just keeps coming. One of the most important doctrines of the ancients was that of the macrocosm and the microcosm. Man is himself a little universe. He is a minute copy of the big universe. Right? Our bodies, everything is perceived through the lens of the body. We can only understand the universe as a reflection of the self because all of our understanding and experience is predicated upon the body. So it is of no wonder that the ancients understood the universe in these terms and saw the greater creation and the greater expansion as a greater body still. And I'm immediately reminded of, I talk about them all the time, but one of my favorite authors, Asimov, and the idea of Galaxia, that in the future, our upgrade where we go is to come together in a shared mind, right? To become that greater body that transcends the self and extends us into the future. Beautiful thoughts, beautiful, beautiful, magical. Wow. Thanks, Crowley. All right. We're now going to go to Chapman's Homer, the Iliad and the Odyssey. Homer, you know, the greatest of the Greek poets. What else can be said? All right, Muses, guide my hand. What is the inspiration? How do we best move and flow? Your skill and footing of a dance will fly a race best. No, sorry. Your skill in footing of a dance as theirs that fly a race best. Your skill in footing of a dance as theirs that fly a race best. Wow. This is talking about learning how to dance, learning how to harmonize and move and flow with the natural world. And it is that skill of dance that will sustain us. that'll allow us to adapt to the ever-changing rhythm and be able to leave our mark and be heard in harmony with her song, you know? So much beauty here. And we have to remember it's that we need to learn how to dance. And while we're making these kind of science fiction sort of analogies, we can also look at Frank Herbert and Dune. Why are the Fremen so great and so powerful? Why are they important? Because they dance with nature. They dance with the worm and are made greater by it. They do not exploit. They move and flow and forever adapt, right? Ever changing and making themselves better able to survive. The message here is to adapt and move and flow. Allow nature to transform you so you can walk without rhythm, right? Wow, interesting. We're now going to move to a really profound book for me, Ludwig Klages of Cosmogonic Eros. Philosophy that looks back to the ancient ways, to the Pelasgian way. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the inspiration? How do we best move and flow? What do we take forward today? We still know the garland as the crown, where the former takes its name for the latter. And to crown somebody means even for us to bestow on them the highest order or right. Wow. We still know the garland as the crown, wherein the former takes its name from the latter. And to crown somebody means even for us to bestow on them the highest order or right. What is a garland and what is a crown? A garland is a string of flowers, a gift from the earth, something that would be placed on those who are worshiping in the fertility rites. Somebody who is meant to stand out and to give a performance, right? To crown somebody means for us to bestow on them the highest order, right? The crown of life, right? The gamos of the life poles. Profound imagery to think about, you know, and those who bear the garland, right? Scandi is saying, thank you. And we think about these things, that the crown is placed upon the head by the divine feminine and is representative of the bountiful nature of the earth. You know, the power of the earth is what gives us the power of the throne. And to ascend this throne is to be crowned in earth and to be crowned in flowers, right? And it is not to be destroying the earth, right? This is a misconception. And we're not separate from her. Wow. Love to see it. All right, we're now going to move to our fairy cards. All right, what is the message? How do we best move and flow? What do we take forward? What is the inspiration? Hope. Is there anything more inspiring than hope? Right? Hope is always there, even if we can't see it. Optimistic expectation can help change a negative situation into a positive one. The power of positive thinking, a very simplistic magical act that has profound impact, you know? And people like to dismiss this stuff, you know, because it does get associated with a lot of the more silly aspects of the magical world. Get rich quick, stupid things like The Secret. But at its fundamental root, positive thinking is at the base of all of this kind of art and creation. If you cannot bring hope and joy into love into the world, then what are you creating? And if you are not removing the pain from yourself and exposing it, transforming it into beauty, what are you creating? You know, there's always this act of love in art, from my perspective. Even what's painful and ugly and broken, it is still an act of love to create, you know? And that needs to be understood, that to create is always to express hope, the hope of overcoming, a hope of transformation, a hope of a better world, you know? Really important to think on that feeling. It's hope that can sustain you. It's hope that can make things worth living. And it's hope that defines your present. Something to consider. So before we move into our tarot reading proper, if you could all just give me another like and subscribe if you have yet to. Reminder, just the likes really do help to make a big difference. And if you would like a private reading, you can email me, snappydds@gmail.com. All right, so we're now going to go to the Thoth Tarot of Lady Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley. And we are going to use the Saturn square. We're going to dissect our life, put it on the plate, look at the connections, and see how things flow. Try to understand how we best moving forward and take divine inspiration from those muses. As always, the middle card is always the most important. We're going to cut our deck in 3, and here we go. Love to see it. Gain, right? Profound gain. Such a beautiful card. The 9 of discs. To have 9 in your discs is to have created something that is expanding exponentially, right? This is a growth that builds upon itself, that is ever expounding. So this is something we've seen before recently as our center square, because we have been, as a community, in this mode of building and of growth. And we are seeing the fruits of that growth. But it's also a reminder, too, that gain is dangerous. Gain can also be, it's hard, especially for those who have never had success. It brings out so much of our worst characteristics, you know? And people who are used to failure, all of a sudden gaining, it can become addictive. It can become so alluring. It can become something really, really detrimental. So as always, we have to be able to move and flow and adapt. Can we adapt to the joy and the power and the gain that is before us? Let's see what's happening. Right. It's funny that I'm talking about all that with a gain, and then we get a card like this. Am I crying futility? So what we're seeing here is we need to embrace this gain. We need to embrace this gain. And that if there is any slowing down, or if there's any perception of this kind of negativity, it's coming from us in the mind, that we're holding ourselves back, that we believe that this is futile, you know. So again, this is another symptom that is born out of people who haven't been super successful or who have struggled. And let's be honest, everyone struggles, right? So this is that feeling of when you do start to receive those gains, when you do start to succeed, do I deserve it? Is it worth it? What's happening here? My world is changing. This is not meant to happen. There comes a deep discomfort, right? Change is always hard. Let's continue. Yeah. A part of this futile sense and this frustration, even in spite of all this gain, there is this trouble in the emotional realm. And we can see what the problem is. It's one of indolence, right? It's one of neglect. So we have 4 cups in the center, well, 4 cups just off of the center that are feeding into each other. But then we have another 4 cups that are cracked and broken and dry, right? So this is recognizing and learning to recognize how we share our time and our love. There are people who love us, who have supported us, who feel left out, who feel that they're not being watered and they're not being reciprocated, you know? This is an uncomfortable energy. There is still love here. There is still a free-flowing acceptance, but there are those who are jealous, right? Some of this is probably born of this gain as well. There's jealousy setting in. There is expectations from these people as well. And maybe they're not receiving what they expected, right? So there needs to be a change here. in both fronts, right? We can always rebalance and learn to spread our love to those who share in with us. But also we have to make sure that this energy that coming in is not this kind of energy of jealousy. So let's see where this is going. All right. Wow. Well, we're seeing a fundamental transformation here. This gain is not the problem. So I'm not seeing it as a issue of the gain, because connected to the gain, we're seeing the 9 here. So it's not jealousy that's the issue. It is this issue of learning to balance our love and learning to be in flow. We need to take this gain and to take all this joy and share it exponentially, right? To have 2 9s back to back is incredible positive energy, profound positive energy. So we just need to be in that flow, giving and receiving, right? Let's see where this is going. Beautiful. We've been seeing this guy show up quite a bit, right? This is that young energy of wanting to either tear or build something down yesterday, right? This is that young energy who comes in with big ideas. Let's build something. Let's create something. Let's do something now. And this is connected to this happiness, right? So we keep seeing this guy show up. So what I'm seeing is we're learning how to connect to this kind of energy and how to inspire and flow with this kind of energy, you know, because remember, this kid, right, while he is showing up bright-eyed and immature, he doesn't have to be a bull in a china shop. He can be, or he can be that guy who's the bull plowing the fields. And it's about directing this energy. And what I see here with the 9 is that we're going to direct and flow with this energy in a very profound way. They're going to help us and we're going to help them. So let's see where this is going. Yeah. This is about that foundational energy. Foundational energy. Beautiful, beautiful. I immediately just popped into my brain is this idea of the Temple of the Muses, right? And we were talking about Asimov. You know where Asimov gets this idea of Galaxia? Galaxia was actually a feast, a festival that was happened at the Museon, right? At the Temple of the Muses, where people would all be welcomed in and they'd all eat together in kind, a shared meal without boundaries. That is the foundation, right? Welcoming people in with different ideas so that they can learn. And it's not about compromising these foundational ideas, right? This is our base. These ideas don't change. But everyone is welcome to come and sit. And this is what's providing all of this happiness. This is what's helping this young energy that can bring so much help, right? Like this is an energy that wants to help and wants to build, right? So to see it being put to use in foundational energy and to be in that flow of happiness is just beautiful. So let's see where we're going at the top here. Wow. So connected to that 9 of happiness and that 9 of discs is being in this energy of the Chariot, pushing forward, right? Balancing that fiery nature and that watery nature, right? Cancer. This is a really interesting energy too, because it's about donning that armor and protecting yourself and knowing what your dharma is. I always think when I get the Chariot, it really reminds me of the Bhagavad Gita, you know? And in the Bhagavad Gita, you know, Krishna, God itself, appears to Arjuna as the lowly chariot driver, as his servant. But Krishna has the foresight to recognize the one in this man. And they have a conversation, and Krishna tells Arjuna that you have to do what you have to do. You have to follow your dharma. You have responsibility. You must take responsibility. If you don't, the world will suffer for it. This is that energy. Take responsibility. You know what you need to do. You are on the path doing the work. Continue to press ahead in spite of the attacks, right? I also think like this is that card of there are haters coming around, but they're also loving support. You just got to keep pushing through. Haters are a good sign. They're a sign that you're succeeding and that there's jealousy arriving, Wow. Let's continue. Let's see. On the other side, we have that high priestess energy. What is fueling this chariot? Where are we getting our armor from? Where are we getting our direction and our dharma? How do we know how to move forward? It's through this energy of connecting to that divine feminine, that intuitive side, listening to the wind and to the flow, connecting to your inner intuition and embracing it. This is taking the leap in many sense. This is trusting in those profound synchronicities and knowing yourself in that intimate way, in that listening way, in that intuitive feminine way. And that's the energy that drives the chariot. Okay, let's see. And if you were in doubt, the moon is on the other side. Moon in Capricorn, remember? Practical earth energy in this intuitive, reflective energy, the feminine energy of the moon. And this is allowing us to really know where we need to go and what we are doing. Follow your dreams, follow your pursuits. And it's going to bring profound growth, profound gain. You just need to get over yourself, right? We need to share more in flow, not only give to those close loved ones, and we need to get rid of this futile energy of the mind. Right? Where we believe we don't deserve this, where we believe that change is change is here, change is happening all around you, growth is happening. You just don't want to see it. Or you're more like we are programmed not to see it because we have not succeeded like this, So when this kind of success happens, it is different. And it is unnerving. All right, let's flip the camera here. And we're going to take a look. And I'll just say, please give me a like and a subscribe. The likes really do make a difference. They boost the algorithm. Give me a short little blessing and some karma. Thank you for listening to my spiel. All right, we're now going to do the top down. So first, starting here, that futility, right? What is this about? We don't think that we can influence these kind of stubborn people. We don't think that we can deal with this immature energy. We think that these people are going to storm in and they're going to knock stuff around. We're approaching it in the wrong way. This is telling us you need to approach it in that feminine, intuitive, priestly sense. Be this inspiring spiritual figure, work through this way, All you got to do sometimes is lead people in a direction and they'll do the transformation themselves. The priestess is this kind of subtle guide, She operates on a different level, She is that subtle mover. She's connected to the divine flow. So this is working with that flow. And it's seeing this person as they're going to change. And all they need to be shown is the way. Shine a light. Show them the direction they need to move. It's not futile. It's never futile. All right. And then we have those 2 9s. Such beautiful energy. 2 9s and the 7, right? With the chariot. And so much Cancer with the chariot too, with their Cancer and Sun, or Cancer and Mercury, or Cancer and Venus. And it's bringing all this gain. Now is the time to really be in this armor, to protect ourselves and to push forward in what we are doing. Don't listen to criticism. Don't listen to negativity. Let it move away from you. Flow in positive love. People who misjudge you will come back. People who are concerned will see you for what you are. Do what you're doing. Trust the muses. Worry about nothing but love. Be in this loving flow and push forward. And the gains are going to be astronomical. Astronomical. Love and joy and material just in abundance, exponential abundance, right? Yeah, so the issues here are with this foundation, you know, learning to flow and learning to share and to connect to these people and to flow and work together in a proper way. And the key to this is this Capricorn moon energy, connecting to the dream, connecting to what's important, connecting to the primordial kind of feminine realization, and being reflective, reflecting upon where we have fallen short, you know, because there is this energy of falling short. There is this energy of not spreading the love enough, you know. Sometimes when we are loving to people and we have given people a lot, we assume that they'll just understand that we are in love. But people need their cups regularly filled. They just do. And we have to get out of that flow of expectation and be in just that reality of giving and receiving. If you want love, you have to give it. And love has to be something that is given again and again and again. You know, everyone needs it all the time, you know? And that's foundational. It's foundational. This is about establishing those ideals, that core that can really sustain and create, can build you forward. And the key here is learning how to share this loving energy and how to move in that flow, right? The goddess is that flow of time, that flow of love, that flow of generation, that flow of creativity, that moonlight, that reflection. And when we are in this energy, we can share all of the water into all of these cups. Okay. We're now going to do our diagonals. We're going to start with this one. Yeah, again, right? The key to working with this young man, and this young man's coming in because it's a result of this hard work and all this gain, right? This gain is something we built to this point. Now we're at a point of this exponential growth. This young man is coming as a result of that, right? This is that energy of wanting to change. So when they see this kind of explosive energy, they're attracted to it. But there's something more deep and more subtle that they need to be made aware of, right? What led to this game? What is the mystery of all of this? What is the secret behind it? It's that divine lunar feminine. And this is where we really need to go, right? That is that energy that is going to transform this immature energy into something that will show up far more mature and far more better understanding. Maybe they'll show up as the Knight of Discs. Maybe they'll show up as the Queen of Cups, but this energy is in that state of change and transformation, you know? And it's a result of this moon and lunar and this growth. Wow. So our last diagonal. Yeah. We're still in this trying to build and maintain and fully have this power base. Even though there's all this growth that's coming and stuff, there's also a need to connect to this, to what is that base. So on one hand, we need to nurture this and make sure that it is strong and make sure that it is that true foundation. And we need to connect those people who are that foundational energy, who are part of this, you know. When I see the Four of Discs, that power, it's not just the materiality, the work, it's also the people. Those people who are your pillars, your shoulders to cry on, your supports, you know. And this is that energy of connecting to this in that deeply intuitive feminine way of knowing and flowing, right? To have a strong foundation, it needs to be foundational. It needs to be incorporated into this priestess energy, right? And it's all leading back into each other. Embodying the priestess is leading to this gain, and this gain is coming as a result of this foundation. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful energy, everyone. Beautiful energy. Love to see it. Love to see it. Wow. You know, the key here is just to really let go of those mental blockages of futility, to accept the gain that's coming in, to be in this free-flowing love and to give freely and to share with others, you know, and to recognize when you fall short. You have to water your plants. You have to water your friends, you know? And also, you know, looking to these immature energies that come in and seeing them for what they are. These are people who are looking to grow. You have the ability to help them. Help them. All right. Thank you, everyone. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. So we're going to do one final sortace, and then we're going to call it for the evening. So I think we're going to go back to my man, Ludwig Klages, Cosmogonic Eros. We're going to get philosophical, and we're going to get primitive. All right. What is the message? Muses. How do we best move and flow? What do we take from this? What is the inspiration? The drive for union in and of itself. The drive for union in and of itself. And I just want to read the bottom line because, wow. Driven love is always a drive for union. And a drive for union is always a physical drive for union. Union, this idea of connecting to the one and experiencing love, physical pleasure is a part of that. Physical coming together is a huge part of that. And it is so important that two beings become one. Even though, right, he goes on here, Klages, he says, now since two separate beings are incapable of physically becoming one, the fundamental form of fulfilling this drive is any substantial manifestation of physical proximity and closeness or physical touch, which culminates for many diverse cultures in the simultaneously symbolic act of the kiss. Wow. And it makes me think, you know, about that idea of the mirror. If you try to kiss a mirror, you always kiss yourself on the lips. You and mirror, you are in reality are fundamentally reflections of one another. And to come into close proximity is to gaze into the eyes of the other and to kiss them on the lips. To be in that loving union. Wow. All right, everyone. The drive for union in and of itself. Love to hear it. Thank you so much. This was a beautiful, beautiful reading. Thank you all. And if you would like and subscribe, it makes a big difference. If you are interested in a private reading, please look in the description below. You will find my email, snappydds@gmail.com. And you can reach out to me if you have any questions or you would like a private reading. Thank you so much, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace and love.